Hello internet world and welcome to a new video on the Geekanoids channel. In today's video I've got a really cool printer. This is the Epson Expression Photo XP-8500. Now this is so much more than a printer. It's also a scanner and a copier as well, and it's got a memory card reader built in under here, which I'll show you in a short while, and it creates really good quality photographic prints. Now I've talked to you about this in previous videos, indeed my smartphone videos and reviews as well, that I don't think enough people print out their photos. We live in this digital world nowadays where we've got digital cameras, of course. We've also got smartphones, which a lot of people use their primary cameras, and we get into this habit of taking lots and lots of photographs, and then they remain on our smartphones and we don't share them with people. On the odd occasion we might share our smartphone with somebody and sort of hand it to another person and say, hey, look at this photo, but we don't print out our photos enough. And the whole thing about photos are they create memories, and I think it's really nice to have a physical print of something. Now I will be showing you some prints from this and running through the features of course as well. But before I do so, I want to switch over to the screen view and just run through some of the main features and specifications of the Epson Expression Photo XP-8500. Now if you do want to check out this printer for yourself, there are links underneath the video to where you can both pick this up and actually purchase it, and where you can find out more details on the Epson website. So one of the first really cool features that I want to tell you about is the auto power on. If you forget to actually turn your printer on, this particular model will actually open up the output tray when the print job is sent, and it will print the print. So that is really cool. It will actually print the photo out or the document. Very, very cool feature indeed. In fact, I would really appreciate this because my printers are located on a different floor. So more often than not I have to run upstairs into another office, turn a printer on, go back to the computer and then make the print. So this is a really nice feature. We've also got a really good 6.8cm LCD touchscreen. Flexible printing options as well. We've got different trays here. You can put A4 paper into the bottom tray, for example, photo size paper into the upper tray, and print between the two. Also of note, it will also print direct onto a CD or a DVD, which is really nice. 6 ink capacity. Inside this are 6 separate ink cartridges. We've got cyan and light magenta in addition to the regular cyan, yellow, magenta and black. So you've got a light magenta and a light cyan inside this printer, so 6 inks in total. Beauty of having separate ink cartridges is obviously when one runs out you don't have to replace the whole lot, you just replace that individual colour. And you've also got up to 300 years of longevity in the prints, and that's thanks to the Claria Photo HD inks being used. You can also buy, I think, on this printer either standard cartridges or indeed larger cartridges as well. We can print on the go, so direct from our smartphone wirelessly. Really very good indeed. This center photo here is showing the CD printing. The CD tray is actually stored underneath one of the paper trays, which is really good. And then you've got other printing of personalized items as well. But of course you can send pretty much any document to this and print it out. The key features here: Claria Photo HD ink, so really good quality, long-lasting photos, and I'll show you some prints in a short while. Wi-Fi, of course, dual paper trays, so A4 and photo paper, and also we've got a rear media feed for putting in thicker paper, so you can print onto a thicker sort of almost cardstock. Here's some images of the printer, just so you get to see it up a little bit closer. Nice compact footprint on this as well. And then of course we've got the cartridges. I believe here they're showing the 2 different sizes. Ready ink as well, so you can actually do a pay-as-you-go ink replenishment scheme. And then the main tech specs on here. So the printing resolution 5760 by 1400 dpi. It does offer up print, scan and copy features. And the speed, 9.5 pages per minute in monochrome, 9 pages per minute in colour. 10 seconds per 10 by 15 centimetre photo, which is absolutely amazing. And here are the colours again. So we've got black cyan, light cyan, yellow magenta and light magenta inside this printer. It is also capable of printing onto an envelope, so we can print onto DL envelopes and C6, and it will accept paper sizes from B5, A6, A5 and A4 as well, and some other sizes in between. 100 sheet multifunction paper tray, 20 photo sheets, automatic double-sided printing as well. So as you can see, this printer has got some fantastic features. So enough of running through the specifications. Now let's have a little look at the printer in use. And before I show you this sort of little mini tour of the printer, I just want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you who tunes into my videos. I really do appreciate it. If you've got any questions at all, we have got the live chat going because this is a live video. We've also got the super chat feature. If you want your question or comment highlighted, you can use that. And we've also got obviously the comment section once the video goes onto the main Geekanoids channel after the live broadcast. So this is what the printer looks like, and it really is a very compact printer. I've been really impressed about the small footprint on this. Very impressed indeed. Now, as well as being a printer, I mentioned it is also a scanner and a copier. So we can lift up this top bed here, and this allows you to place a document on the glass and then either scan it to your computer or to a memory card, or indeed to actually do a copy. So we'll do a copy on this very video. I'll do one really very shortly. We can also lift up this complete bed to gain access to the ink cartridges as well. And then we've got here a front panel. This is the 6.5 centimetre touchscreen. Let's turn this on just so it can be powering on, and you'll see the touchscreen come on. We've got touch sensitive areas either side as well, like a help function or a back, and then a home button here as well. And we can scan through the various features on this touchscreen. Something else that's really nice is if you lift this up, it will actually spring up into place. This gives you a nicer angle if you're looking down on the printer to actually access all the features. You can lift this up a little bit more as well if you so wish. Just underneath here we also got the memory card slot, so we can put in our memory card from a digital camera and print direct from the memory card. And then we've got access to the trays at the bottom here. Now the trays pull out really easy. I'm not going to do that in this video, but we can pull out this tray and the upper tray. The upper tray is used for the photo size paper. We've also got a USB input here. I think it supports PictBridge. I think that's what the technology is called, but basically you can print direct from a USB thumb drive or memory stick as well. Now I will take some questions later on in this video, but before I do so, I just want to show you this printer in action because it's got a really cool feature. This is one of the test prints. Really nice colours to this test print. Absolutely beautiful detail, and this is on a thicker stock as well. I think this will take up to around about 160 GSM paper, and that can be either glossy or matte. I prefer to print on matte. And you'll see how compact this is when I hold this A4 sheet up. It literally is a little bit bigger than an A4 sheet in depth. Very cool indeed. So we place that on the bed here, on the scanner bed, and it's got this auto detect feature. And it also detects, excuse me a second, there you go, I can see clearly now. It also detects if you place something on the bed, but also if you try and turn the printer off with all of the trays and drawers open, or with something left on here. So if you forget to move your original, it will also remind you of that on the screen. So it's detected that I've put something onto the scanner bed, and it's given me the option to do various prints. So I could sort of reduce this down in size, scan or copy. For this example, I'm going to push copy, and then it comes onto this other screen here, which is giving me options of how many copies I want to do, black and white or colour. I can increase the saturation. I'm just going to tap copy. Now watch what happens when I tap copy. This is really cool. Fingers crossed this works. There we go. The actual tray for the paper coming out automatically comes out the front of the printer, and when you turn it off, it automatically retracts that as well. Very cool indeed. Now whilst this is actually doing the print, and it won't take very long, I'll just take some questions. I just want to say a big hello to all of you for tuning in. Tuning in live is Sumu, Trevor, Raymond, Darren, Trevor and Paul. Thanks very much for tuning in. That's really awesome of you. Darren Bird says, do the phones need an app to print? I haven't tested the apps. You can get a dedicated app. My previous experience with printers like this is, especially when using iOS, not so familiar with Android because I've only just made that switch, is they will show up on the wireless network as an available printer to print from. So I would assume, but don't quote me on this, you should be able to print from another app on your iPhone. If that's a main feature that you want, then I would definitely check with Epson before making the purchase. So this is the copy, and I'm just going to tap home on this. It goes back to the home screen. Let's remove the original off the top bed. Now I have looked at one of these before because I've been testing this prior to doing this broadcast. This is on standard A4 paper, and this is on like a photo matte paper, and it's a really good copy. The colours aren't quite as vibrant, so you have lost a little bit of vibrancy, but the detail is amazing. If I had done this onto identical paper, I think the copy would have been more or less identical, but it's a really good quality copy. This is the copy, this is the original, so a little bit more muted due to the different type of paper I'm using, but a really very good printout. Really good indeed. So the copying function is there, the scanning function will be really good as well, and these are some prints that I did prior to starting this broadcast. Now the first one isn't a great photo, but I wanted to show you this just to show you how punchy the colours can be. This is a photo that I took of my OnePlus 5T smartphone. Really vivid screen on that smartphone. I sort of pumped the brightness up on it, took a photo of it and then printed it out on the XP-8500, and the colours are amazing. A really very good quality print, and this is also on 167 gram paper, so it managed to print onto 167 gram, which is a really heavyweight matte paper. And then this will give you more of an idea of the photo quality. This is another photo that I personally took, so this is my actual creation as such, and the colours here are really very good, and also the amount of detail down in the shadow areas just underneath the pebbles. Just a really good quality print. Very good indeed. A really impressive result from the printer, so I'm really impressed with that. So quality I'm not worried about at all. User interface really very good. I know you can't see this very clearly, but it's all touch control, so I can go into maintenance settings, various prints for example. That gives me a choice of copies, design paper, greetings cards, copy to CD or DVD, calendar, schedule, lots and lots of presets built into the printer. And then of course we can go back to our home screen, and then we can go across to here where we've got an option of copy, print photos or scan. We've also got little icons on the screen which show if it's connected manually, sort of hardwired I should say, or connected to Wi-Fi or to a mobile device. So we've got sort of some icon feedback here. We've also got a question mark here which we can tap, which allows you to do troubleshooting or go through an on-screen guide. So some really nice features. I also like the fact you can angle this up. You can push this tray in manually if you want, but if you turn the printer off, it asks you if you want to close the tray automatically. So if we select yes, it pulls that tray back into the printer. Then we can close up the bottom flap just here, and then of course we can manually close that top flap as well. So it all compacts down into this really neat little package. I think it's a really awesome printer with some really good features, and this quality is absolutely superb. I'm just going to turn this on once more just so that you can see that screen come on. We'll leave it sort of turned on for the rest of the broadcast. Let's jump into the questions. Trevor Luckett asks, are the cartridges dearer than the printer cost? That's often a problem with a lot of inkjet printers, but I'm finding that manufacturers, this is going back in comparison to maybe 10 years ago, I always found, and this was while I was a graphic designer, when you had a printer and a multi-ink cartridge ran out, that multi-ink cartridge was often about a third of the cost of the actual printer. More often than not, those cartridges sometimes would actually contain the print head as well, and that was where the cost came in, especially if you had a printer where the actual print head was in the cartridge. So nowadays a lot of manufacturers are moving across to either bulk ink systems, which you used to be able to buy as third-party add-ons, or they're moving across to individual ink cartridges. Now, it is still an issue with some manufacturers that those individual ink cartridges are still quite expensive, but if you opt for something like this that takes larger XL cartridges, then you can bring that print cost down. I would always recommend using original cartridges in Epson printers. They seem to respond better to them, and you get better quality printouts, but I've just been very, very impressed with the actual quality that I'm getting from this printer. So what other questions have we got? We have got Raymond Moore, how many prints can be made on a single ink cartridge? That is impossible to say because it depends on the coverage. If you're printing out prints like this, or especially like this with a really big amount of ink coverage, I mean this is probably what, about 95% ink coverage in comparison to this, which is probably round about, I don't know, as a guess, 70% coverage. If you're printing out business documents that are mainly text and maybe a graph, then that might only be 40% ink coverage, so it's going to vary a great deal. I would really want to get around about 300 to 400 pages personally, minimum, from a set of cartridges before I have to start replacing individual ones. And they're going to run out at different times anyway. You know, maybe the black's going to run out before the other colours. And I would imagine with a printer like this, and don't quote me on this, but the light cyan and the light magenta are used for enhancing the photos, so they may well need replenishing less frequently than the other ink cartridges. So it's a really difficult question to answer. Darren Bird, can I remote print? I can't answer that one because I'm not sure. I haven't tested the remote printing on this. I know you can print from an app. I'm not sure if it would be able to link up to that from sort of another location. I have seen printers that do that, including ones in the Epson range. I'm not sure that that technology is filtered down into this particular model. But if you check out the link down in the video description, then I'm sure you'll find the answer within the specifications. So that is pretty much it. It's just a really nice printer, and I want to sort of finish this broadcast or this video in the same way that I started it, and that's to talk to you about actually printing your photos out. I think it's a very, very important factor. I make a habit now of going through my photo library once every sort of 2 to 3 months, sometimes a little bit more frequently, but at least sort of 4 times a year. And I always flag or star my favourite photos, so I can quite easily then go into my Photos app, look at the ones I favorited, and then I can actually print them out. And I think it's nice just to print half a dozen photos out, all of your favourites, and then either pop them into a frame or just have them in a photo book. I've printed photo books before, and that's a really nice way of just putting that on the coffee table and then others being able to enjoy the photos that you've enjoyed capturing. We don't print out enough photos, we really don't, so it's a real shame. Now this is a photo printer, just to clarify that. A lot of people have been asking me about my Epson EcoTank printer, which is super cheap and economical to run, and that's more of a business orientated printer. Maybe for somebody who runs a business from home, maybe for somebody who's self-employed, maybe a small office, where you're looking for optimum or most economical way of printing your documents out. And that runs for ages, and then when the inks run out you just top up the inks. But the Epson EcoTank printer that I did a review on previously is not a dedicated photo printer. It will print out photos, but they won't be anywhere near as good as this. And this has also got some really good paper handling. The fact that you can use that manual feed and actually put in a really heavyweight gloss or matte or even silk photo paper and get out a really nice print with that 300-year longevity on the prints. There's nothing worse than printing out with just regular inks on a non-photo printer and then you look at it after maybe even a year and you can start to see those colours fading where it's exposed to natural and artificial light. With something like this, the Clarier inks actually give you a really good lifespan on your prints, and that's what you want because you're capturing a memory. So do bear that in mind. If you're printing out photos and that's your priority, then go for a dedicated photo printer. Now, even though this is focused or targeted towards printing out photos, don't forget it has also got those other really nice features. The fact that we can use it for copying documents on occasion, the fact we can use it for just printing normal letters and diagrams. So you can use this for other things apart from photos. The other features I really like is obviously the SD card slot, and of course down there we've got that USB input as well. So the fact that we don't have to necessarily send our photos across from a device, we can just do it direct from a memory card, is a really nice feature as well. So anyway, that is it for this review. If you're looking for a really compact and really decent performance from a photo printer, then check out the Epson XP-8500. There are links down in the video description to where you can pick this up for yourself. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next one.